Training in cold weather. Continued. It helps. I make most of my improvement during the cold months. For me, this means adding reps to the exercises in my program and adding in some new movements as I up my weekly workload. When warm weather rolls in, I just do the opposite to get rid of the extra weight. I eat less. I'll come back to diet later on, but now I want to get some practical advice for training in a cold or drafty weight room, some of which I learned at the York Barbell. The gym wasn't cold, like the Fielder Shed. It had an overhead heater, but it was drafty as hell, and if we didn't take precautions against the chills, we paid the price. First step, bundle up. Pile on layers. Double sweatshirts, double sweatpants, double socks, and a hat, if need be. A sweatshirt with a hood works well, but if it's really cold, a hat is even better. Right at 40% of your body's heat loss is through your head, so it needs to be protected. Gloves are optional. I never use them, but if they don't interfere with doing your exercises, go for it. Muscle rub can be one of your best friends in a cold and drafty gym. Hoffman's rub was okay at first, but we got used to it and it didn't help much. Then Smitty would whip us a batch and leave out the alcohol, which was used to dilute it for economic reasons. It was so hot it was dangerous. Honest. I'd be at a contest applying it to my shoulders or knees, and a lifter from another club would ask if he could use some. I'd advise him to use just a bit, but since it was free, he would always splash it on. In about 5 minutes, after he started warming up, he would be on fire and have to dash to the nearest bathroom to scrub it off. I'd just chuckle when he came back and say, "I told you it was strong." There's nothing out there with that much punch that I know of, but Iron Mind Enterprises has one that comes very close. It's called Nicoflex, and it's used by a large number of foreign Olympic weightlifters. Tiger Balm also does the trick. The Vitamin Shop has a good one too called Joint Cream, but it makes my clothing reek, so I gave up on it because the smell outweighed the benefits. A tip about using any kind of muscle rub. Warm up for 10 to 15 minutes before applying it. If your skin is already hot when you rub it into the muscles and joints, it will react much faster than when you put it on cold. Which brings me to warming up in cold weather. Allow some extra time to get your pulse and respiratory rate up before you start on your planned program for that day. How long? Depends on how cold it is and how long it takes you to elevate your body temperature. Individuals differ greatly in this regard. Begin with some calisthenics or ride an exercise bike for 5 to 10 minutes. Once you start breathing harder, do something for your ab sit-ups, leg raises, or crunches, and then do back hypers or reverse back hypers for your lower back. That will warm up your midsection and back. Now use light dumbbells and get some blood in your shoulders. A set of lateral and frontal raises will do the trick. When the room is very cold, it's smart to do some sets with really light weights before adding heavy plates. One of the strongest benchers I ever trained with, pound for pound, would always do 2 sets of fairly high reps, 20s, with the empty Olympic bar before adding 45s for his first work set. I've had lifters tell me they don't like this approach because those light sets burn up energy that can be used when they get to their limits. I tell them that if 2 sets of 20 with just the bar taps that much into their reserves, they had better do something to increase their overall workload. Once you feel that your body is ready for the stress ahead, put on your muscle rub. And this is the right time to wrap any injured area or body part or joint that is susceptible to getting hurt. A step up from ace bandages or those wraps that powerlifters use are the elbow and knee bands made from rubber, the kind found in scuba suits. Tommy Kono came up with this idea in the late 60s and sent a pair to Bob Bednarski, Tommy Suggs, and to me to test. They made all the difference in the world. All 3 of us suffered from aching knees, as did just about every other Olympic lifter that we knew. The heavy cleans, snatches, and jerks were punishment enough, but when it was really cold, workouts were most painful. The knee bands allowed us to train heavy right through the winter months, and with a bit of muscle rub to boot, we were in hog heaven. Most know the story about Hoffman changing the name of the knee bands from TK knee bands to BH knee bands and marketing them on his own. But Tommy has the last laugh. He's selling them again, and Hoffman can't steal from him this time around. They're also available in most fitness supply stores, and I've seen them advertised in Powerlifting USA. The newer versions are covered with fabric, which is a good improvement since those made of rubber were easy to tear. If your knees or elbows ache in the cold when you're training, these will be well worth the money. As soon as you thoroughly warmed up, have applied the muscle rub, and put the knee and elbow bands in place, get to work and maintain a fast pace. You can move from set to set much faster in cold weather, and this will allow you to do more work in a regular session that you normally do. No dilly-dallying between sets. Stay in motion the entire time. Huffing and puffing is a good thing. It will help you build more stamina, which is a plus for any serious strength athlete, and especially for any competitive lifter, Olympic lifter, or power lifter. I use coffee to help me sustain a fast pace, but I only sip a little at a time and don't start drinking any until I'm into my program. As with the muscle rub, I wait until my body is geared up to add in the caffeine. And knowing that caffeine acts as a diuretic, I do not overindulge. Others like colas and energy drinks, which are loaded with caffeine. Others like colas and energy drinks, which are loaded with caffeine. A bit more on that subject when I get to the supplements. Unless it's my light day, when I finish my intended workout ahead of schedule, I throw in another exercise or two for some area that needs more work. This allows me to improve my volume for that day with very little extra effort. As soon as I finish, I drink a protein shake and take a gram of vitamin C and 2 multiple mineral tablets. By doing this right away, I replenish those nutrients that had been lost during the exercise, and this greatly enhances my recovery. One of the things that most who train with weights do not understand is that the need for taking certain supplements is just as high in cold weather as it is when you end up in a session sweating like a pig. It's obvious when you go through a 3 t-shirt workout in hot, humid temperatures that you need to replace the water-soluble vitamins and minerals, but very few bother with those when they barely break a sweat in the weight room. But the truth is, your body has been using a great many nutrients to get through the session. The B vitamins to help convert the foods you have eaten to energy, and the minerals to convert a large part of that energy to heat in order to maintain a level of homeostasis. If your body temperature drops significantly below 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 degrees Celsius, hypothermia can occur. So in very cold weather, the primary job of your body is to keep you warm and out of harm's way. In the process, lots of vitamins and minerals are used up and need to be replaced. Keeping the body sufficiently warm also requires a lot of water, and again, few lifters bother drinking much in cold weather, but they should. Each day, the average person loses at least 2 cups of water through breathing, another 2 cups through invisible perspiration, and 6 cups through urination and bowel movements. That's 10 cups a day without taking into account the fluids lost through perspiration during a workout. There's also the water utilized during the conversion of energy for heat and the body's metabolism. Approximately 4 cups are provided by the foods you eat, but that still leaves 6 to 8 cups of water daily just to keep the body functioning normally. For those who put in 2 hours plus exercising, that figure is even higher. In cold weather, I don't drink quite as much water as when it's hot, but almost. I mentioned that I drink some coffee during my workouts, but I also drink water at the same time. Otherwise, I will get dehydrated, and there's plenty of data to support the fact that dehydration is a common cause of poor athletic performance. I also make sure that I supply my body with water-soluble vitamins and minerals on a regular basis throughout the day. When I get busy and forget to take my multiple minerals, I am painfully reminded of my lapse of memory. I cramp. Usually it's in my hands and calves, but my hamstrings enjoy torturing me as well. When the temperature abruptly changes from mild to cold, I always tend to take less minerals and vitamin C because I'm not sweating nearly as much. Then during the night, I'm jarred from my rest with eye-watering cramps in my calves. And later on, when I forget to add C and minerals to my late night supplement list, it happens again. And occasionally, even when I've dutifully taken the needed supplements, I still cramp. This usually occurs when it's extremely cold, which tells me that my body has gone into a higher gear to produce the necessary heat to keep me out of danger. The minerals are essential to good health and are most necessary to anyone wanting to make progress in colder months. Some authorities believe that minerals are more important than vitamins because vitamins are functionless in the absence of minerals. Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats cannot be used, broken down in digestion, and built into cells, turned into energy without a long chain of chemical reactions, and minerals play an important role in this process. With minerals, like vitamins, the whole is better than the sum of its parts. Minerals never work single-handedly, but in a synergistic manner with each other, which means you should take a multiple mineral tablet which contains all the essential minerals. Just about an hour before I plan to go to bed, I take 2 calcium magnesium tablets and also a couple of multiple mineral tablets along with a gram of vitamin C. This helps me maintain a balance in the minerals, and I know all of these supplements do a huge amount of work when I'm asleep. To recap, make sure you wear plenty of clothing when you train in the cold. Take plenty of time to warm up thoroughly. Begin each set with a few light, high rep sets, then move through your workout with purpose. No long rest periods, stay in motion. Stretch while you're still warm, take a hot shower, do a protein shake and some vitamin C and minerals, and change to other warm clothes. During the workout, drink lots of water and your energy drink of preference. Try to pack on some extra body weight by increasing your caloric intake. Eat healthy foods. Fats are your friend in cold weather, and you can choose unsaturated fats over saturated ones rather easily. A simple salad of avocado, lettuce, and hard-boiled eggs can provide a fistful of useful calories. Whole grains, fish liver oils, and fresh fruits will all aid your cause, and of course, never forget the strength athlete's best buddy, a protein milkshake. Consider cold weather as the time that you can gear up in the weight room and get considerably stronger. That's when the lifters and bodybuilders of my era really put the hammer down, and it paid off handsomely for those who paid attention to the smaller points. But that's the case for everything in physical culture, paying attention to the smaller points.